Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, Episode 4. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share the channel with a friend. Introduce it to somebody new. I'm trying to grow. And yeah, if you get anything out of the content. Now, y'all, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. When the episode first opens up, Marlo goes to look at plans for Marlo's money mansion. Now, she didn't call it that, but I gave it a name. I created one, honey, since everybody else got one, child. Moore Manor, Chateau Cheray, Candy, and Todd. Honey, because they ain't named theirs yet. But anywho, she's there with the custom home builder, and they're looking at the home's floor plan. Baby, Marlo is building a house. Okay, Monty. Okay. When she was standing out in front of that plot of land, all I could think about was hearing Andy ask Phaedra, well, Phaedra, you went to Sheray's plot. What did you see when you were there? Sticks and dirt. Shout out to Phaedra. Oh, child. These heifers love to go to a plot of dirt, child. Ooh, my goodness. So as they're going over the plans, Cheray and Kenya show up. She gonna say, I invited my friend girls. Yeah, one of them took 20 years to build her house and the other one's still building. Marlo. So then they're gonna get out of the car. Here she go. Hey, girl. She's so fake. Oh, Marlo's so fake, honey. So in the confessional, she was like, yeah, I just wanted to get their advice. I feel like I can learn from their successes and not their failures. Not you're going to try to throw a little shade but give them a compliment on the slick. Girl. So Kenya starts looking over the floor plan and realizes that the closet is bigger than the bedroom. Honey, Marlo might as well sleep standing up next to her designers. Girl, 500 square foot of space for you to sleep? I need space in my bedroom, honey. It's supposed to be an oasis of sorts. But hey, if you want a 300 square foot bedroom and you want a 9,000 square foot closet, then go and set yourself off, honey. Everybody's different. Moving forward. It's your money, but leave it up to Kenya to point it out. So, child, I was looking at the scene and I noticed that Cheray ain't saying nothing. Child, Cheray probably having PTSD seeing that empty plot of dirt, honey. She ain't saying nothing. Baby, Cheray ain't said a word. So then the contractor leaves and they're like, I'm surprised you moved out this far because you're a Buckhead girl. You know what? It seems like every time a housewife from Atlanta goes to visit another one, they always talking about how far out she lives. Go or don't go. Okay? I don't know what to tell you. Marlo was like, yeah, I am a Buckhead girl, but my income cannot afford it. She said, y'all always saying I'm rich. They're like, no, that's what you say. Marlo, that's the truth, honey. Because I remember when you and Cheray was acting up in Africa, you came in there throwing that money in the air, talking about how you spend money. I'm known for fashions. Hold on. I'm known for getting money. So, if you saying you're known for getting money, then, honey, that's what they going to know you by. Marlo's money mansion. Oh, honey, I wish I could be serious for 2 seconds. Okay, y'all, let me be serious, child. So Marlo is still building Marlo's money mansion, and here we are. So Marlo was like, see, Kenya, this is the problem I have with you. You always got something to say. And Kenya was like, no, I'm just saying what you say. She's just repeating what you say, girl. So then, they squashed it, honey, and got themselves together. She was like, let me calm down. Okay, let me just calm down. Marlo said, I have a problem with everyone asking where my money comes from because that's too personal. I don't even know why they care where her money comes from. It doesn't matter. If she ain't got no money, are you going to help her build? Are you going to help her pay any of the bills? Are you going to help raise the kids? Okay, well then who cares where her money comes from? Child. And when you find out, then what? Oh, nothing? Oh, okay. Moving forward. So they stopped talking about that. Then they started talking about New York and they asked Kenya if she's going to see Mark. Child, absolutely not. So then they asked Cheray if she's going to see Tyrone. She's like, well, he put in a request with his PO to go. So we'll see how it's going to go. Listen, I know Cheray is an OG, but that sounds ridiculous. Like, I know Cheray could have found some man in the free world all of these years. Is this what it's come to? You know what? Her picker needs to be fixed. It needs some fixing. We got Bob. We got Dr. Love, a.k.a. Dr. Taid, and now Tyrone. Cheray just wasting all that fine on these men. Child, please. As fine as Cheray is, she really needs to take her assets over to somebody who understands and appreciates them. Child, I wish I would. And also, if I were Drew, I wish Cheray would try to come for my husband, honey, when your man just stopped asking for permission to use the phone. Drew don't know how to get the girls together. Because, baby, it couldn't be me. Because the minute Cheray would have pulled out anything or started going in on my husband, I would have reminded her that she just got done with conjugal visits. Moving forward. She's like, yeah, in her confessional, he's on house arrest and he has a curfew of 9 p.m. So did your children growing up. Cheray, every time I hear this is just a fool, honey. She was like, he can only go within a 100-mile radius. It's giving a fool. Okay? I couldn't play those games. So Kenya's like, well, how do you feel going to New York with Drew? Child, of course Cheray don't care, honey. She don't care nothing about Drew, honey, paying her dust. So Kenya was like, I didn't appreciate how she actually came for you. But, she's having problems in her marriage. So it seems she has enough drama. Honey, all you heifers having man problems if we really being real. Okay, every last one of y'all got something going on. Todd and Candy are fighting over power. Cheray is fighting over... Child, I don't know what Cheray is fighting to do, honey. Fighting to see the man that lives in the phone. And then we have Marlo. Marlo has her money, honey, but she ain't worried about no man, or is she? And then we have Drew. So all y'all have man problems. Let's just keep it real. In the next scene, Todd and Candy go for a walk to discuss how the other one doesn't have each other's back. I'm so sick of this. Candy won't bend or compromise. Candy, you gotta compromise a little bit. And Todd is still feeling left out. Child, where is Candy in the gang? Honey, I ain't got time for this. Moving forward. In the next scene, Drew and Ralph are at the house waiting for counseling. Okay, and so assistant number 1 is helping out. Assistant number 2 is on probation. Why in the world do y'all need all these damn assistants? Assistant to do what? Walk around that house? Anyway, so the producer was like, how does it work in the Pittman household with all of the assistants? She said, well, we treat, our business like a corporation. But what business, though? That's a waste of money. I know y'all ain't talking about dropping it on the floor with Drew and picking it up low or whatever y'all doing over there. I know y'all ain't talking about that fitness stuff. Y'all need, it's probably to help Drew get out of that squat. They probably need 4 assistants to help Drew get out of that squat. Oh, honey. Oh, child. Real Housewives of Atlanta is a mess. Do you hear me? That's a waste of money. She said Ralph works in tech for Fortune 500 companies. So, they have to take the proper steps. You're on probation and then you may get terminated. Drew stopped. Okay. That assistant was worried about Cheray not paying him. Honey, you ain't either if he on probation. Side note. These wigs Drew are wearing are giving scalp realness. Honey, Drew said, y'all will not make a fool out of me in my wigs this season. I know that's right, Drew, honey, because that wig you got on in this scene, baby, I had to get up close on the screen. I'm like, is that scalp? Lace well. Baby, I love it. I know that's right, honey. Your man ain't acting right, but that wig's sitting right. So Drew tells us in the confessional that after her date with Ralph, he slept in her son's room. And that's how she know things are in a pretty bad place. How is he mad after he's the one that made you cry? How does that work? Okay. So Dr. Ken arrives. Dr. Ken asks about the marriage and Drew starts talking about the dinner that Ralph put together. So Dr. Ken was like, yeah, respect. Okay, so you like that. So why did you do that for her? He was like, I wanted her to feel like a queen, but you were treating her like a court jester because you're a clown. Anyway, so Dr. Ken was like, did you receive that she really appreciated it? And he's like, not really. I can't stand Ralph. I can't stand him. I can't stand nothing about him. He said he feels like she doesn't respect or appreciate him. And he's giving her stuff that any woman would appreciate. Stuff, though. Those are things. How are you respecting her in other ways? How are you reaching her in other ways? Are you giving her the respect that you want? Because I ain't seen it yet. Child. So she's like, no, but he's talking about stuff and I'm talking about my feelings. He thinks those rose petals and that surf and turf are supposed to make her turn a cartwheel when he's been disrespectful all week long. Boy gone. So he was like, to Drew, everything is a problem. She's like, but I'm talking about how I feel and you're talking about, steak and lobster. He said, well, she deserved a Lunchable. Let me tell y'all something. I had to take my helmet of salvation, aka my bonnet, off when he said she deserved a Lunchable. That was so damn disrespectful. That's something you tell one of your kids. You play over the food, so I'm going to give you a Lunchable. Okay? That's what you tell your children. Child, I would have left him and his Star-Spangled sweater sitting right there. Do y'all hear me? And why do you have on that stupid looking sweater anyway? Oh, child. So then Dr. Ken, honey, he didn't even address it. He didn't address his comment about the Lunchable at all. I'm not really feeling Dr. Ken. Drew, Okay, if you continue on with Dr. Ken as your therapist, honey, you will never be heard because quiet as is kept, he's giving Ralph vibes 2.0. I don't trust nothing about Dr. Ken, honey. I don't like him as a therapist. Yes, I said what I said and I ain't changing it. He should have given Ralph and Drew tools in that moment, but instead, he turns to Drew and tells her that she needs to work on being in the moment. Sir, he needs to work on the way that he's speaking about and to his wife. Can we address that? Oh, we cannot? Oh, okay. He's like, I could see how Ralph would be hurt. What? So then Drew is like, well, how can you be in bliss if all of these things are wrong? Then I'm thinking it's giving fake. I mean, just like the storyline, but that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. So then Dr. Ken addresses the fact that she needs to take some accountability. So Ralph is like, well, I feel like this conversation is one-sided. It is one-sided, okay? I feel like he's not hearing Drew and he's only hearing you. So, yeah, you're right. It is one-sided. He's like, well, she said you called me a maniac. Drew is like, okay, I knew he was about to bring that up, but he brought up your name first. So then Dr. Ken was like, well, it doesn't matter what I say. It matters what you say. Say what now? Dr. Ken, sir, this ain't gonna work, honey. He said, it just matters what y'all say, but he didn't deny it, though. Did y'all catch that? Because he is a maniac. Child, he said what he said and he ain't changing it. He said, next time, let's just keep Dr. Ken out. Then he gives them an assignment. For 30 days, they cannot be combative. They cannot attack each other in any way. Okay. So Drew was like, what happens if we don't keep up our end of the bargain? So Dr. Ken said, well, you have to be his servant. He might want to have sex 5 times a day. I thought that was so disgusting and cringy. I don't know if it was just me. Sir, don't be talking about what my husband might want to do with me 5 times a day. I don't like it. Dr. Ken is creepy to me. I don't like his counseling style at all. So then he tells Ralph what he has to do, and that's whatever she asks. He's like, you might have to help with the kids, or, if you don't want to do it, then, sir, don't break the agreement. Oh, okay. He ain't got no respect for women at all. Bye, Dr. Ken. Honey, we need Dr. Francis over here in Atlanta. Because, baby, he going to keep it real with the man and the woman. And y'all not going to play in Dr. Francis' face. First of all, he going to be standing over you. That's number one. Because Dr. Francis never sat down. So you need to get Dr. Francis over here to do what needs to be done and give what needs to be given. Because Dr. Ken is not it. And that's that on that. Moving forward. In the next scene, everyone is packing for the trip. And up the driveway comes Miriam and her sex slave, Patrick. Honey, Miriam is giving legs and hips and body. Shout out to Candy. Baby, she done came up there with these pasties on, honey. Ooh, honey, she got this man on a leash. How fitting. So they go on up there, child. Ralph was real excited when he went to that door and saw Miriam. Calm down, honey. This ain't Tampa. Over at Sonia's house, baby, Ross was back there licking his lips. Honey, I see you, Ross, and you ain't fooling me. So then Kenya gonna say, how about a playbill? Well, I have to say it is misplaced, but Kenya, Candy gonna promote Candy Coated Nights something if she don't do nothing else. She trying to promote this bedroom candy, honey. She promoting this play on the slick. I don't know what's happening, but it didn't make any sense. It would make more sense if they were going to her dungeon tour, and then that invite would be the way that they were invited. So I understand. But if I'm going to see Thoughts of a Colored Man, and then I see Miriam and her legs and hips and her boobs coming up the driveway, I'm gonna be a little bit confusion. But y'all, Kenya got a problem with everybody's invite and everybody's event. So then Kenya called Cheray because she was appalled. Child, she was appalled. So Marlo was on the phone with Drew, and she said Candy needs to change her name to Freak Candy Burris. Y'all leave that woman alone, honey. But I have to say, we do not need a Bolo repeat for Kenya to get a hold to, honey. The sexual focus every season with Candy is very tiring, though. There has to be more to Candy. There has to be. When she was first introduced to us, it was all about the music. It was all about us being introduced to what Candy does. And I mean, I guess because she does have bedroom candy, she tries to incorporate that every season. I mean, it's smart on her part, honey. It's smart marketing, but sometimes it just gets on my nerves, honey. I guess there's nothing wrong with being a sexual being, but they run Candace into the ground. It's either sex, money, or fighting with Todd. In the next scene, Candy ordered a Sprinter so that everyone is on time. She was like, I don't need nobody missing the plane. You know how these girls like to be late. Candy, I know you didn't. Girl, you have been late consecutively since you have gotten on this show. And girl, people in glass houses. So they get on the Sprinter. Here come Kenya. Well, I didn't know it was a couple's trip. Nobody told me that. Candy said it's an everybody's trip. She's like, well, where's the memo? This is what she said in her confessional. I would have liked to know. Flashback to Kandi saying, you can bring your boo. If you got a date, then bring your date. She's like, that's something she should have told me, me being a single woman. Well, honey, you brought Brooklyn. And it's still time to call Brandon. Honey, y'all ain't there yet. Because you know she's going to call Brandon if she don't do nothing else. So Kandi is asking if they like their gifts. So Kenya in her confessional, she's like, I'm trying to coordinate a nanny, traveling with Brooklyn. Who has time to be walking around the streets of New York wearing vibrating panties? Is Kenya going to complain every confessional? If so, you need to cut some of them. I don't want to hear all that complaining, honey. And I feel like people are being unreasonably shady. Shout out to Giselle and Robin, or Rob. They're being unreasonably shady to Kandi this season. And these confessionals, it's just, I don't know now, honey. I thought Kandi and Kenya were friends. And if you don't want to put the vibrating panties on, then don't put them on, girl. Don't put them on. So then Kandi gives the itinerary. And in the next scene, they arrive in New York at the hotel. And Kandi decides that they should play a game to see who's going to get the next penthouse suite. And they want to know who has the best sex story. Child, this right here was a fool. So Sonya was like, well, we did it on a plane on the way to Dubai. Girl, that ain't nothing. So Drew said, I just feel like Sonya has never had sex outside of her bed. Drew, worry about that bunk bed that Ralph's sleeping in instead of with you, his wife. Don't be worried about Sonya. Child, everybody worried about everybody. So Marlo gonna say, well, I did it before at the zoo. And everybody was like, what? Because in my mind, I was thinking, girl, not at the zoo. How you get it popping at the zoo? She was like, and a giraffe was there and he licked my face. I'm like, oh, heifer, please. Child, I was thinking it was really about to be something, but it was just Marlo lying again, trying to get attention again. So Cheray said she was at the Ritz-Carlton and she was in the pool and everybody was out there and they was watching. Womp, womp, womp. Cheray, the one, seemed like she only do it in the bed, child. So then Ralph starts talking. He was like, yeah, me and Drew, we did it in the ocean in the DR and, the whales were out there. And they were like, the whales, what? Sir, shut up. Child, even the sex story is a corny lie. Whales? Oh, really? So y'all were out there getting it popping with Shamu and them. Boy, if you don't hush. So then Cheray gonna say in her confessional, a whale at the beach? What beach you at? Child, they like to lie. The two of them like to lie. So then it's Kenya's turn. She starts telling the bedroom story, child. She's like, once upon a time, I met this guy. I really liked him, and he was into hunting. So they drove to where the coyotes were to hunt them because they were messing up the environment. And he hit and he shot him once, but he wasn't dead. So he left a trail of blood, and we followed it. And we followed it to a cavern, and we had sex there. Kenya. That story sounds like Captain Planet mixed with Hansel and Gretel. They left some breadcrumbs behind. And Captain Planet, he's a hero. Girl, that is a lie. Okay? Child, please. So Kandi was like, Kenya's story is BS. But it took a lot of imagination. It was like, child, just give her the room, honey. She having sex with coyotes' blood and it's dripping and they following the drip. Just give it to her. I don't think they should have given Kenya the room. No. She should have been disqualified for lying, just like Marlo. This was a Zootopia mess, honey. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Honey, it was animals everywhere. In the next scene, it's day one and Sonya's getting her makeup done. They start talking about the Drew and Cheray drama. And she said in her confessional, if you have an assistant and he's being messy with one of your friends, you might be equally as messy. Number one, Cheray is not Drew's friend. She just met her. Number two, Cheray was getting lied to and getting info fed to her as well. So the same could be said about her. Sonya, girl, stop trying to create a problem where there is none. This has nothing to do with you. So over in Marlo's room, she's getting glam and Cheray comes in. And she's like, you don't think Todd's sneaking off doing nothing, do you? Because Cheray brought up the fact that they had to be ready at a certain time because they were going to Todd's condo. So she was like, I don't know, girl, you think? So Marlo gonna say, well, Todd ain't as freaky as Kandi. She might need therapy. Being freaky ain't got nothing to do with cheating. Not nothing. So Cheray said, so who do you think is the second freakiest in the group, like after Kandi and Todd? Marlo said Drew and Ralph. Honey, that show you don't know nothing right there. Drew and Ralph? Child, ain't hitting on nothing. I would have said Sonya and Ross. Because, honey, Ross looked like he got a little freak in him. Y'all seen how lit up he was when he saw Miriam at that door? Honey, he ain't fooling me. Over in their room, Drew is trying to get a foot rub. Drew's feet are awful. They are awful. I hate feet. Those feet were giving me Flintstones. I don't like nothing about them, honey. So while he's taking care of those puppies she got, they talk a little bit about the Cheray stuff and we move on. In the next scene, everybody's ready to go on this field trip to Marvin's room. Shout out to Drake. Child, because y'all know they like to call Todd Marvin. So on the way to Marvin's room, Candy starts giving all the cons to the condo. Honey, she couldn't even let him get in good. She was like, it's far. See, it's outside of the city. Candy, let it go. She's like, Todd likes to hang out with his friends when he gets here like he's in a fraternity. He likes to get drunk. I be just hanging by myself. Cheray said in her confessional, well, the streets do be talking. Then they flash back to Peach Juice. Baby, Portia done been in every episode and ain't even on the season. Child, what is happening? So Cheray was like, all I'm going to say is she has a right to be concerned. Cheray, shut up. Always acting like you know something but ain't saying nothing. Honey, if you know it, then say it. Otherwise, hush. Because then you're going to get to the reunion and get to stuttering, acting like you didn't know what you said. So Sonya was like, do you have any insecurities when he's out? And she was like, yeah, at times. And so she was like, oh, I'm surprised that Candy has some reservations because she's the sex queen. Listen here. I do not know why in 2022 people still assume sex will keep a man from cheating. You can have sex 8 days a week and there's only 7. Swing from chandeliers, have threesomes, sleep with coyote blood on you, and they will still find a way to cheat if it's in them. If they gonna do it, they gonna do it, honey. And that has nothing to do with Candy wanting to have sex all the time. And they just got through telling us that they like to go in there and Netflix and nap. They ain't doing nothing but sleeping. Child, moving forward. So Todd is like, I'm from here. Like, I'm always on your turf with your family. And I understand that. Plus, we have to remember he lost his mom. So he may feel like this is his only tie to home. So I don't blame him for wanting to keep that condo. Now, I do understand Candy not wanting the condo because the condo used to belong to the ex-girlfriend too. But Todd bought her out, so it's his place by himself. Girl, so Todd feels like Candy is so used to being the focal point that she doesn't realize she's not being attentive to him. And so Candy said, well, all the stuff I do that because it's going to help us in the long run. So Todd was like, it's just a growth struggle. Like, if I switched it up on you and my stuff just blew out of the water, then you're going to be wondering where you fit in. And Candy was like, I'd be cool with it as long as you don't start tripping once you get there. So Marlo was like, well, it might blow out of the water without Candy, but not without Candy's money. And this is why Candy is always on that ass when it comes to where you get your funds. Leave this man alone. And also, I think he stacked his own paper. It's been 7 years. They're married. Their money is pooled. I don't think Candy and Todd are suffering in any way, together or separately. Marlo, you tried it. The bottom line is this. These two are not on the same page. Todd wants a piece of home and Candy wants a piece of mind. Candy wants things her way. Okay, she wants things the candy-coated way. They need to learn to work together. Candy, you got to compromise. And Todd needs to understand that Candy is sought after and some things they may not be able to do together. Y'all really need to talk about these things because y'all have been fussing about this since you got your wedding special. And I have to say that I do feel like Todd is supportive of her, and he has gone through a lot, from the prenup to Mama Joyce thinking he only wants her money, and he still loved Candy and he still married her. So y'all need to figure it out. In the next scene, they get to the condo. Beautiful views, but it needs some work. Child, Kenya is in there working, honey. She has renovated the entire condo in her mind. I thought that was very impressive. I was like, okay, more renovations. Candy, let that man keep this place so he can pass it down to his children. Honey, I don't care who was there. Sage it and move on. Nobody gets rid of a piece of property in 2022. But what you do need to get rid of are those awful spiral stairs. Those things are ugly. They're hideous. So Cheray gonna say in her confessional, I see the point in keeping the place, but it doesn't compare to Chateau Cheray. Of course it doesn't. It's a condo. She's like, it doesn't even compare to Marlowe's plot of dirt. Okay, so now you're over exaggerating. See what I'm saying? Unnecessarily shady. Like, what is this all about? I bet it compares to Tyrone's sale. Stop hating, honey. So after seeing everybody on Todd's side, he's like, see, babe, they like it. She was like, well, go ahead and do it so he can keep it. In the next scene, they get to dinner, and Sonya starts asking why Candy and Drew not wearing their wedding rings. Child, I wouldn't wear one either if I was Drew. And she was just saying that basically she gained some weight after she had the babies, and then things got rocky, so she never put it back on, as she shouldn't. So then she brings up the 30-day challenge and how they're not allowed to be combative to each other. So Candy is like, so what happened with the assistant? Candy. Why you not wearing your ring? You skipped right on past it talking about some assistant. You had a whole fit when Mama Joyce called that ring ugly and said that you bought it with your own money. Well, Mama, it's the ring that I wanted. You remember that? Now you don't wear it? Something in the buttermilk ain't clean. Anywho, so Ralph was like, yeah, I had to go ahead and fire her. So Kenya asked Drew what's wrong because she could see it written all over her face, right? And she said, I'm just still emotionally dealing with the fact that I even had to deal with another woman. Side note. Okay, let's pause for the cause. Kenya, what is this wig? Honey, it's just plopped on. It's just sitting how it's sitting. Is it a side part? Is it a middle part turned to the side? It's just all wrong, honey. And usually Kenya's hair is on point and I love her hair. But this right here, it's giving truth is I'm tired. So Ralph is like, well, how do you get over it and just like move on? So Kenya was like, with time. So he's trying to explain it away. Y'all know how he like to do. Drew is getting pissed because he's not owning his part in it. He's like, I did own my part. So then Kenya goes, you know what? You remind me so much of Mark. Oh, okay, well, that settles it, honey. Ralph is definitely a douche. Moving forward. So Kenya is telling Ralph what Drew wants. She's like, she wants you to take accountability and understand her side and hear her. So she said now that they've gotten a do-over, she's trying to see Drew for who she really is, and she sees someone who's hurt. And I appreciated that. I really did. I like that she actually stuck up for Drew. And Ralph is still making excuses at the other end of the table. At their end of the table, Kenya is like, he's an a-hole. Like, I've seen the way that he speaks to her, and it reminds me of how Mark used to speak to me. So then we get the original gaslighting reel featuring Mark. So he's like, why are you rehashing things? That's what he's saying down there to Drew. Like, it happened for me this way and it happened for you that way. That's fine. So, baby, what'd he say that for? Kenya's like, no. If my husband says something like that to me, I will flip this table over. That is disrespectful. It's basically letting her know in her face that she's lying and what she's saying is not true. And I'm like, oh, child, not you gonna flip the table over. Would you though? Because Kenya now, Mark was very disrespectful to you the last time he appeared on this screen. But I'm happy you taking up for Drew though. Honey, Kenya say you can't fuss, but he ain't say I couldn't. Baby, Kenya gonna fight for Drew if she don't do nothing else, honey. But you know what I really did appreciate? Kenya could see herself in Drew. And when you can see yourself in someone, it allows you to look at things from a different perspective. And I appreciated her standing up for Drew, honey, because Drew has lost her voice. She really has. So Marlo chimes in and she's like, I'm not about to be blaming Ralph. I'm pointing the finger at you too, Drew, because you allow it. Here goes Sonia. Yeah, because, you teach people how to love you. Honey, you can teach all day. You can teach all you want, honey. But if the student isn't teachable, it does not matter. Okay? So Drew needs to move the hell on and move the hell away from Ralph. So then they shift the blame to Drew and everybody's talking about her. And Kenya said, well, Drew can't let stuff go. And she does some of the same things that she's accusing Ralph of doing. So she was like, what do I do? Because Kenya was saying this and Drew was confused. She said, you can't let things go, mainly your issue with Cheray. She said, okay, this is the kind of person I am. I'm a don't start none, won't be none type of person. But if you bring it to me, I'm a finish it. And I don't think any of y'all would like somebody talking about your husband. So Candy was like, but wait a minute though, because your assistant is the one that brought the story. That's where it originated from. So Drew gonna say, well, I don't have any, evidence of that. Drew, shut up. Okay, girl. Okay, you are just like Ralph. Yes, you are. You're sitting up here trying to act like it didn't happen. If he's telling you Cheray's business, you don't think he's talking about you to other people or your husband or whoever's in your house? Girl, please. So Cheray pulls out her phone because you said you don't have any evidence, so here are the receipts. She pulls out her phone and shows Drew the message, and then the scene ends. And basically, Cheray was like, reading the text message, and she was like, yeah, Anthony said that your husband was gay. And he was like, what? So he leans back because he didn't want to address it. And then we see Todd drinking that beer like a 7-Eleven big gulp. When I tell y'all I holler, Todd was quiet the whole time. Todd ain't said nothing, honey. He said, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. But I'm going to say this. I am so tired of the your husband is gay trope. I'm sick of it. It's very offensive to the LGBTQIA community. It really is, because it makes it seem in some way like it's shameful. It's a shameful thing. And I know that it has to offend them. So, we really need to be more careful with that. And every time they do that, it hurts the person's family. Like, they have children. So why would you just go around saying things? Now, I don't know if he is or if he ain't. That ain't none of my business. Child, y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. I actually thought the episode was good. You know, a few people thought it was boring, but I liked it. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I cannot wait for part 2. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.